Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be another murder minute on my channel, so I'm going to start off with a trigger warning. This video contains a story of several violent murders that were committed with guns and knives. If those types of descriptions and depictions trigger you in any way, I suggest that you go ahead and click off of this video and click onto some of my more milder content found on other areas of my channel. Now stay tuned for the rest of this video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a murder minute featuring the Zodiac Killer. I'm going to be covering this off of Murder Minute, the app, which is on, I know, on Android devices. I'm not sure about Apple devices. I have an Android. It is a free app. You get one story a day. It's very cool. You can choose to go in depth with your stories or choose to go with quick details. I like the in-depth ones, so that's that. So today's story is going to be on the Zodiac Killer, and it was contributed by a writer named Jennifer Lewis. So let's get into it. These murders started in 1968 mysteriously, and they ended mysteriously, and the Zodiac Killer was never found. Well, the identity was never found, thus the killer was never found. So let's start off with the killing started a few days before Christmas, and the first two victims were murdered in the northern region of California off of Lake Herman Road. It was known as a popular hangout for teenagers, kind of like a make-out lane type area. And the first two victims were Betty Lou Jensen, who was 16 years old, and David Faraday, 17 years old. Both shot dead and were found in David's car sometime after 11 p.m. The Jensen-Faraday scene, there were tire marks from a second car, evidence that the shooter walked up to the victim's car before he started to shoot. However, there was little evidence to who or why the crime was ever perpetrated. This case was thoroughly investigated, but there were no leads. It was just like completely random. Nobody ever came forward with any evidence. So this was in 1968. Nothing further. August of 1969, the killer makes his presence known again. The killer let it be known that Jensen and Faraday were not random murders, but the first known victims in a mysterious serial murder gang. Prior to linking Zodiac, Jensen and Faraday, prior to linking the Zodiac killings of Jensen and Faraday, there was a similar attack. These victims, Darlene Farron and Michael McGew. The couple was at Blue Rock Springs Park, just 4 miles from the Lake Herman Road. And this incident happened on July 5th of 1969. When a car pulled up next to Darlene's vehicle, the couple believed that it was the police. They were getting out their IDs to show the officer, and suddenly a man started shooting at them. After 5 shots, the killer went back to his vehicle. He even shot a round at another couple, and that was that. So that was the Farron and Mayhew scene. Darlene was pronounced dead at the scene. Michael lived and provided a detailed description of the man's appearance. 45 minutes after the Farron and Mayhew attack, the Vallejo Police Department received a call from inside the park. The person claimed to be the killer and claimed responsibility for Daniel and Michael's attack. On top of that, he also claimed to be the one responsible for Jensen and Faraday. And he provided details that were never released to the public. So this gave the officers a really good idea that, yes, this is the killer. He knows things about the scene that only we do. Michael had given a description of the killer, said that he was in his late 20s. He was approximately 5'8" tall. He was approximately 120 pounds. He had short, light brown hair. And so they had a description of him, and now they had him on the phone. But what can they do? Well, nothing. So goes on a little bit longer. August of 1969, the trail of the killer went cold, and then 3 separate San Francisco-based newspapers received identical letters from the Zodiac Killer. The letters gave detailed descriptions of both murders, including facts only the police would know, but they were in a 408 symbol cryptogram designed by the killer that also planted clues of his identity. The killer demanded that the letters be published or he would kill again, and they were printed in the papers. So that is the translation of the cryptogram. It was cracked by a local teacher who was able to decipher what the cryptogram said and turned over what the cryptogram said to the police. August 7th of 1969, San Francisco Examiner received another letter. This was again from the Zodiac. He was expressing his disappointment that his letter did not make the front page. He believed that he should be front page news. He then again provided more details on the recent homicides. And at this point, you're probably going, he is way too much contacting news organizations. Well, it gets way worse as it goes along. September 27th of 1969, the Zodiac Killer strikes again with Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard. The couple were picnicking at Lake Berryessa, which is a small island off of Napa County, where they were approached by a man who was wearing a black executioner's hood. The man claimed he just escaped prison and needed their car to go to Mexico. He tied the couple up and had them lay face down on the ground. Well, at this point, he began to violently and viciously stab them and left them both for dead. The Zodiac went to Hartnell's car and drew his symbol on the car with the dates of his 3 attacks. So that is the Hartnell and Shepard scene. A fisherman nearby heard the couple screams and contacted the police. A few days after the attacks, Shepard did die from her injuries, and Hartnell survived and provided the description that you saw earlier of the man in the executioner's mask to the police to try to help them find the attacker who led to the death of his girlfriend. On October the 11th, 1969, a man got into a cab at a busy intersection in San Francisco. The cab turned a corner on a street when a man shot the driver in the head. 3 teenagers heard the shots and witnessed a man exit the cab, wipe it down, and walk away. So that is the cab scene. The cab driver's name was Paul Stein. He was found slumped in the front seat. And this murder gave investigators the first real witnesses from 3 separate witnesses. And they all matched up to Mayhew's description of the Zodiac. A young white male, late 20s to early 30s, approximately 5'8" to 5'9", with light brown hair, and police were able to get a composite sketch and put a face to the Zodiac. October 14th of 1969, San Francisco Chronicle received another letter from the Zodiac. In that letter, the Zodiac confessed to Stein's murder and even provided a piece of his clothing as evidence that he committed that murder. A week later, Zodiac asked the Oakland PD for a favor. He wanted to speak with either F. Lee Bailey or Melvin Belli. Now, I know a lot of people know who F. Lee Bailey is, but Melvin Belli at the time was also another high-profile lawyer. The two had a local TV show that premiered in the morning in San Francisco. Melvin actually agreed to speak with the Zodiac, and they did hold a phone conversation. However, afterwards, a lot of people are convinced that that was not actually the Zodiac, that it was a hoax. So that is a common belief at this time, that that was not the Zodiac, that whoever Melvin actually talked to on the phone was just someone trying to make a joke out of the whole Zodiac Killer at this time. So Zodiac, however, did send a new 340 character cipher to the new news agencies across California. Now, this one is one of the most famous cryptograms in history, because to this day, to 2019, from 1969 to 2019, no one has ever been able to crack this one. It is still unsolved. Countless experts have studied the code, and it still has not been solved. And for months after this, things remained quiet. So from that point until March 22nd, 1970, nobody heard a word from the Zodiac. That quickly changed. So March 22nd, 1970, Kathleen Johns was driving on Highway 132 when she noticed a car behind her was honking its horn and flashing its lights. She was pregnant and she had her 10-month-old daughter in the vehicle with her. Now, why she decided to pull over is beyond me, but she did. In this day and age, I wouldn't pull over, but I think in those times it was just a different mindset. I think that's the reason why she did it. The man approached her car and told her that her right wheel needed to be tightened and that he would do it for her. She said, "Okay, thank you," and he proceeded to work on her tire. However, as she drove off, after thanking him, the entire wheel came off of her car. This prompted the man to then offer her and her baby a ride to the nearest gas station. However, they never made it to the nearest gas station. They drove around for over 90 minutes. This is when Kathleen realized that her and her child were in danger. As they pulled up to the next intersection, she jumped out of the car with her baby and hid into a field. After the man left, she hitched a ride from the next available vehicle to the local police station. And when she walked in, she saw that previous sketch that I showed you guys that they got from the 3 teenagers of the Zodiac and said, "That was the guy that just tried to kidnap me." The Zodiac actually eventually confessed to that kidnapping several months later in one of his numerous letters that he loves to write. But for the remainder of 1970, he went on a writing spree. So, that was in March. In April, the Zodiac threatened to bomb a bus unless the media printed this letter. Then in June, we got another confession letter from the Zodiac. Then the Zodiac seemed to be completely and fanatically in love with the San Francisco Chronicle and continued his flurry of communication with a Halloween card. That card is partially addressed to Paul Avery, who was the lead journalist on the Zodiac case. And the Zodiac seemed to take a liking to Avery and often communicated with him directly. So January of 1974 marks the final letter in the Zodiac mass communications. This letter is the one where the Zodiac praised the movie The Exorcist. This is the very last communication with the Zodiac, and no other murders have been linked to him since this communication. So after this communication, literally the Zodiac ghosted. So 1974 and nothing else since. It has been the biggest mystery in serial killer kind of annals since Jack the Ripper. So Jack the Ripper and the Zodiac are the biggest ones when people are like, who did it? Why did they do it? Where are they? Who were they? Because no one was ever arrested, officially charged and the crimes just stopped. So, Zodiac's identity is still unknown. A few names have lingered through the years as potential suspects, and one such name is Arthur Lee Allen. Now, you may look at that and go, yeah, but he doesn't really look like the sketch, blah, 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 blah. But he was a prime suspect due to his living in the area, him having ties to various crime scenes. But, again, no hardcore evidence, thus no reason to charge him. Over the years, many people have claimed to know the Zodiac's identity, but again, no evidence, no reason to charge anybody. So again, another great big question. So with that great big question and great big mystery, that's going to end today's video. Now I know there's a whole lot of jump cuts in here, but I wanted you guys to get a full sense of the Zodiac. He did a lot of communications. He did a lot of weird type things, but it was it still is a very interesting whodunit. Just like Jack the Ripper, all of these years later, is still a very interesting whodunit. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you're notified every single time I upload. In the comment section down below, let me know what you think of this video. And if you have any ideas of who the Zodiac Killer is, leave those down below as well. In the description box, you'll find my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my email so that you guys can communicate with me on any platform that you choose. And that's going to do it for me today, guys. I've got another case ready to go, but this one is even more detailed than my Zodiac case. So it might have to be a two-part video because it's so long. It took me forever to do. But I will figure it out for you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.